Now let's discuss the Surangama Sutra. What is meant by the deluded view shared collectively by beings? Ananda, in this Jambudvipa, apart from the great oceans, there are 3,000 continents spread across the central flatlands. Among them, the central continent spans east to west and contains about 2,300 major countries. For the remaining small continents located in the surrounding seas, some contain 200 or 300 countries, others just have 1 or 2, or up to 30, 40, or 50. Ananda, suppose among them there is a small continent with only 2 countries. The people of one country experience the same negative karmic conditions, witnessing all kinds of inauspicious phenomena, such as seeing 2 suns or 2 moons, halos, eclipses with strange shapes like pendants, sudden streaking comets, or curving rainbow arcs, which are seen only in that country. No one in the other country neither see nor even hear of such things. So this excerpt was spoken by Sakyamuni Buddha for Ananda. What he meant, deluded view shared collectively by beings. I would explain this way. So this is talking about individual karma and collective karma. Individual karma is your own, one's own, but collective karma is shared by many people. Deluded view shared indiscriminately by everyone. Why is it called deluded? Because all that's perceived by sentient beings are deluded. Other than the wondrous, luminous true mind, the rest are all deluded views. Actually, I think Sakyamuni Buddha is incredible. 2,600 years ago, he knew already that the Saha world have many continents. If you don't go out, Sakyamuni Buddha was in India, right? He never left India. And he knew already that great ocean, and in it there are many other lands, and not just lands. It's divided into many continents. Like in Buddhism, at the center, Mount Meru, surrounding it are the 4 great continents and 8 small continents. And among them, there are mountains, the 7 golden mountains, the fragrant ocean. So there are seas and mountains, 4 major continents and 8 minor continents. At the center, Mount Meru. So the knowledge and information back then was not widespread. There are no televisions or radio. And in the Buddha's era, they drank the water from the Ganges River. Of course, there are also many inhabitants. And yet, Sakyamuni Buddha could know that in the Saha world, other than the great ocean, there are also many other continents. If you want to classify or divide it, there are the central continent with 2,300 major countries, and there are many small continents, the surrounding seas, and some contain 200 or 300 countries, or some with 1, 2, or 30, 40, or 50 on these lands. Like now too, there are major countries and there's small countries. Like Singapore is a small country. Taiwan is small enough. I was born in Taiwan. So we say that Taiwan It's like a yam, and Japan is like the dog droppings. It's from there to there. And Singapore is it's what's that called? It's like a nose, like a booger. So there are many little countries in the world, but Singapore is very small. It's like a Tainan county in Taiwan. It's only as big as that. But this little country, Singapore, is well managed. The passport is really nice. All visas are fine. Malaysia, there are 13 provinces in Malaysia, but its Malaysian passport is not easy. It's not easy like to get the American visa is harder, but Singaporean passport, it's easy to get visas all over the world. They always regard Singapore to be a good country, although it's a small country. But you can go anywhere in the world, go to immigrate to other places, and they live well in that little country. So they were well administered. So Sakyamuni Buddha made an analogy. Ananda, suppose among them there is a small island with only 2 countries. And there's one country that's not good, and the other one is good. So the feelings are different. So everybody would feel differently. Like in Africa, Africa is a huge continent. Simu's caretaker, Abby, came from Ethiopia. And her daughter went back to Ethiopia from America and cried every day there. Asked why, she said, never had it crossed her mind that the country that she was born in, it's undeveloped, poor, live in huts, and children without clothing all over the streets, have no food to eat, no clothes to wear, living in grass huts. They walk everywhere. We don't see more modernity there. Coming back to America, you have everything. Why? They don't have those over there. Why was I born there? That's the so-called collective or shared karma, the shared karmic condition. Living there, you have no food to eat, no resources, not to mention public bathrooms. You just do it on the roads everywhere. And no running water. So being born there means what Sakyamuni Buddha said, a collective karma or shared karma. In this world now, every country is different. Many countries have no wars. If you were born in Palestine, what can you do? If you were born in the today's Ukraine, what can you do? Today, they said that the Ukrainian man from 18 to 60 have to join the military. Good thing I'm 80 already. Otherwise, almost all would go to war. So the fates are different, but you were born there. So individual karma is created individually, and collective karma created together. So if you're born there, then you belong there. And the houses are destroyed, family members separated, or get lost or lost. So it's very sad and horrible. So this is the analogy of Sakyamuni Buddha. Suppose among them there is a small continent with only 2 countries. The people of one country experience the same negative karmic conditions, experiencing all kinds of inauspicious things. They can see 2 suns, 2 moons, and sometimes comets streaking. You can see the shooting stars. So all kinds of inauspicious phenomena appear in that country. On the same island or continent, the other country is different. On this small continent, there are 2 countries. One country is not good, is bad, with all kinds of inauspicious phenomena, but the other country is good. So this country will not be able to see anything, all the bad things in the other country, and vice versa. So the sentient beings of one country are different from the other countries. And also what they heard are different. So I often say, living in the state of Washington, so this is considered a continent too. So we can say that the weather is quite good, like today. But you don't know. In other places, there are places with 40 degrees Celsius, and you don't feel that 40 degrees or 50 degrees Celsius. Now, in many places in the world, like even in Europe, there are heat waves, very hot. Early on, I went on a trip to Singapore and stayed at the Milan Hotel. And Singapore is very hot. It's dark at night, so I was thinking about going on a stroll. It should be cooler, but as soon as I get out, oh, it's still so hot. How come? Singapore is very hot. And how about the weather in Seattle today? It's nice and cool. In Singapore, hot. That's right. When I get to Singapore, then I was thinking, oh, the sun has come down, so it must be cool, and wanting to go walking outside. But it turned out, wow, I went back in. So hot outside. So different countries are different. And Seattle is different. And then if you leave Seattle and go to the east, it's also hot there. Or if you go from this state to another state, it's also different. So according to the Buddha, this is called the shared or collective karma. Living here is your collective karma. If you live in the tropics, that's also your collective karma. Or in the cold places, that's also your collective karma. Something you never imagined, like the Northern Europe or Iceland or Alaska. It's dark for half a year, and for another half year, the sun never sets. And then when you get out of the house at 3 a.m., the sun is still shining. It's something that you would never imagine. That's a collective karma. So Sakyamuni Buddha talking about this. I'm talking about the modern days, and that was about his view. But Sakyamuni Buddha was incredible. He never left India. But he knew that there are many countries, big countries, small countries, and many continents or islands. Because back then, the knowledge is not widespread. How could he know? So that's how marvelous he was, or he is. I find the Surangama Sutra is really wordy, long-winded. Now he's going to talk about the Lamb and the seeing and what doesn't matter what you say, Ananda will not understand. Let me tell you, you can sing the heavenly song. Some people can sing, but they don't know the meaning of it. Some people know, some people don't. Although they can sing it, but they don't know. What is this I'm singing about? That's also something very sublime.